Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about my top favorite cream blushes for brown skin. Don't mind her, she wanted some attention, so I'm just holding her. It was very hard for me to rank blushes, so I'm not going to. Instead, I am going to categorize these blushes according to price. And so irrespective of what price range you can afford, there will be options here for you that will be beautiful and amazing and flattering on brown skin. So let's get started. The most affordable and amazing cream blushes that I have. First up is e.l.f. Cosmetics, their putty blushes. These are beautiful. Seriously, these are stunning. I have two shades here, and my favorite shade out of these two is Barley. However, both of these look great on my skin tone. They are a really sheer formula. This is a type of formulation that will set down on you, so they will end up turning into almost like a powder blush, but they do apply like a cream, which means they're fantastic under a mask. They're really great for people who have oily skin because they're really not that emollient. And what I love about these is that they're also a little bit smoothing over the pore area, so you can apply your blush right here and it's not gonna make your pores look huge or anything like that. A tip with these is if you have these already or you're planning on buying these, try these with like a very dewy foundation or a dewy skin tint. And what you'll see is that although they set down to a powder finish on top of a dewy base, they will give you this beautiful sheen that looks slightly blurring. Oh my god, these are amazing. Hands down, I love them. I would actually love to get the other shades and do a swatch video for you, but it's really hard to find them here in New Zealand. They're always out of stock and it's becoming very difficult, but I understand why. They're amazing. So these are $6. Next up, we have cream blush for $8, and that is ColourPop. I have done a whole video for ColourPop blushes. Check them out because this is an amazing formulation. This is not a cream blush. This is more of a moussey texture. Think of a pressed mousse. It lasts all day. The shade selection is amazing. I highly recommend you check out my swatch video because wow. I feel like both e.l.f. and ColourPop, these are cream products that I think are closer to a high-end formula at really affordable prices. So the next category of blushes is between $11 to $20 US. In that category, I have two blush options that I want to show you. The first one is Salt New York. They have quite a few products. They have cream bronzers, highlighters. I believe they've now come out with a cream foundation. Of course, they have cream blushes and they sell them in refills. So they sell the little pans and you can feel free to make your own palette with them. So this is the palette that I've created with Salt New York. And these are amazing. This is definitely what I call a high-end cream blush formulation, but it's at a very affordable price at $16 a pop. They are truly fantastic. They are pigmented, they are blendable, they easily sheer out. You can blend these with your fingers or a brush. They are slightly emollient, so you will get that dewy look on the cheek. If you don't like dewy blushes, maybe don't go with this formulation. You're probably better off with the ColourPop or the e.l.f. because those two aren't really dewy. This one, however, is a dewy formulation. Lovely products. You can also often find these 30% off on their website. This is like a palette bundle and you can get this entire thing at 30% off when you buy these together. So check him out. Amazing little brand, and I'm very curious about the foundation now. Next up in the price range at $20 US, I have Rare Beauty liquid blushes. Whew, these are great. They are great. I feel like there is a bit of a learning curve with these because these are very pigmented, and I mean just a little dot is all you need. When I first tried these out, I was always putting on way too much blush because with my other blushes, you kind of need more. However, with these, you just need a dot. Pretty good price at $20 US. You get a lot of product. I mean, look at that. You're never gonna run out. These do come in two finishes. You've got your dewy finish and your matte finish. Now I have done a whole video on these, so please check that video out for all the swatches. I've done swatches of all these shades, as well as I give you application tips. Now quickly, I just want to mention for the matte ones, they do set and dry down really quickly. So you want to be quick with your blending. Whereas the dewy ones, not so much. The dewy formulation I feel like is a lot easier to blend because they don't really set like the matte ones do. However, the matte ones you can wear under a mask. You can't wear the dewy ones under a mask. Also, they last all day long, no issues. The color selection is amazing. My favorite shades are Grace and Love and Joy. Joy is gorgeous. So Grace is probably the prettiest pink cream blush I own. Every time I wear Grace, I just feel very feminine. It's beautiful. I love Love. Love is like earthy undertone, looks stunning on my skin tone, and Joy is a beautiful peach, just a stunning peach. So check him out, well worth the money. Right, so the next category is between $21 US to $30 US. So now we're really getting into the more expensive blushes. And my picks out of these categories, and I think you'll be surprised to hear this, but first up is the Rare Beauty Melting Blushes at $21 US. I'm including these because they are such an interesting formulation. They are very slippy. When you dip your finger in, you can feel that silicone-y, slippy feel. And when you apply them on the cheek, again, they feel very maneuverable. They do set down pretty quickly, but because it's such a sheer formulation, they're easy to apply. I do find that sometimes I can get quite a bit of an uneven application with these just because of how slippy they are, but there are ways to work around it. You can use a brush, or you can just use light tapping motions. You can also swipe at the edges just to diffuse them out. They're really easy to maneuver even after they dry down, and because they're sheer, they're also really easy to use. They kind of work well on top of the eyes as well. Of course they will crease, but they don't look horrible when they crease, and they just give you this soft wash. So all you need to do is dab some on the cheeks, dab some on the eye, you're really good to go. So I've enjoyed these. I think they're lovely. I've really been enjoying Nearly Apricot and Nearly Berry. Nearly Berry looks very flattering on my skin tone. It's that perfect cool tone berry. And Nearly Apricot, of course, I'm a sucker for any peach, coral, orange blushes, so I obviously very much love Nearly Apricot. And surprisingly, Nearly Mauve has been probably my most worn shade out of these. It just kind of goes with everything. It's one of those really pinky but a very muted pink toned blush, perfect for every day. So next up in this category at $22 US are the Natasha Denona serum blushes. So these are the puff paints. I adore these, you guys. Just they bring me so much joy, and I'm very surprised to see some bad reviews about these blushes. They really didn't work for quite a few people. And I watched those reviews, and the things that jumped out to me was really application. This is a very thin, very liquidy formulation. What I've seen people do with these is apply these and then take a stippling brush, something that is quite firm like this, and then I've seen people aggressively blend them out. And then people have complained that they turn patchy, it lifts the foundation. And so if you have these and you found the same issue, first of all, I highly recommend don't use really pointy sort of stippling style brushes. Instead, you want to use something that is very soft, something like the Hourglass blush brush. So this is a synthetic brush. It is very soft and dense, and all you need to do is pat, just very soft patting motions on the cheek, and these blushes will diffuse out in a second. They're so easy to use, so easy to blend. I'm actually wearing the shade 10 at the moment, which is one of the most unique shades I currently own, and that's what I've got on my cheeks, and it just gives me this beautiful look to the cheek. It's incredible. I love wearing this to work as well because it goes with anything. I can wear a pink lippy with this look, a brown lippy, an orange tone lippy, a peach tone lippy, you name it. It just works with so many different makeup looks. Another thing you want to do is apply these on top of an unset foundation. So don't put your foundation on and then put in a layer of powder and then apply these on top. And then, you know, most of the time cream blushes, you want to apply them on an unset foundation and they won't really give you a problem. Yes, I've seen quite a few people say they don't like them, they don't like this formula. I totally disagree. My experience with these have been 10 out of 10, and I've been wearing these for a long time now. I have tried them with all sorts of different foundations. I never even once had an issue. So the main thing I want to tell you about these is application is key. Treat them as delicate blushes. Use a soft brush and soft tapping motions. You'll be fine. There'll be no issues. Now the color selection is also super unique. I love all three shades. They are very different and all three look flattering on my skin tone. I have done a whole video on this with cheek swatches and everything, so check that out. Joy, this is what I call these blushes. Give me a lot of joy every time I use them. I don't know, it's just something about it, something about the really fluffy texture that gives you almost this blurring look to the skin. And I'm not kidding you, that's what happens. It's like a cloud that spreads and kind of fills in some of the texture and smooths things out. I don't know how to describe it. Phenomenal, phenomenal. So the next one in this category at $24 US are Lisa Eldridge blushes. If you can think of a watercolor blush, that's what these are like. They're not going to give you that creamy look to the cheek. They're not really that very emollient, creamy type of formula. They are emollient, but they set down where they actually just look like they're part of the skin. So if you really like the sound of that, you don't like dewy emollient blushes, you actually want something that you apply and it's going to look so lightweight that it just looks part of the skin. It doesn't look like you've applied product. Then this is it. Then this formulation is amazing. Now the two shades I have are Dante's Dream and Island Glow. Island Glow is ridiculously flattering on my skin tone. It really brightens up my complexion. So if you're anywhere near close to my skin tone, I highly recommend Island Glow. It's worth it. The other one is Dante's Dream. So Dante's Dream, I've changed my mind about. I didn't particularly like it when I first got these. However, there have been some occasions where I specifically wanted a red-based nude blush. Like, it's very specific, I know, but it was very difficult for me to find in my collection a nude cream blush with a red undertone. So I have nude blushes, but nothing with a red undertone except for Dante's Dream. And this was perfect. It works so well with red lipsticks, any sort of red look where you don't want your cheeks to be super enhanced. You still want them to look nude with a reddish undertone. Dante's Dream is perfection. They are best applied with your finger. I didn't particularly like these with the brush application. With the finger, I feel like you get a little bit more dewiness. With a brush, they really set down and they almost look matte. What you want to do, and that's what Lisa Eldridge recommends, and it's spot on, is that you really want to take it on the back of your hand. Don't apply them directly on the cheek. They're very pigmented, and I find that I can struggle to blend them out if I apply them directly on the cheek. So actually applying them on the back of the hand, then picking up a small amount of product, tapping it on the back of the hand so you get very small amount of product, and then tapping it out is the best way to work with these. So the next blush in this category are at $25 US, M Cosmetics Serum Blushes. Now these are the dewiest of them all. Of all the blushes that I'm going to talk about today, these are the extreme end of dewiness. They are glossy. They're just gonna beam you out of earth. Like, they're super, super glossy on the cheek. They're incredible, you guys. Incredible. What a unique formulation. And they're thin. But there is a caveat to that. If you have texture, they are going to emphasize any cheek texture. Don't buy them. Like, Unless you don't care that your texture is going to be visible, then that's fine. But if you care about that, these are not for you because they are super glossy, so they are going to make your cheek really stand out. Now, there is a way to work around that. You can apply a matte powder or a matte powder foundation underneath just to smooth out your cheek texture, and then apply just a sheer wash of this blush, and you will be amazed. You won't see texture, but you'll see this beautiful glossiness on the cheek. They are just divine, divine, divine. I'm so impressed. I think they are totally worth the hype. It's just that if you have texture, just know they're super glossy. And yes, there's a way to work around them, but I don't think you can totally eliminate your texture from using these. So that's just a little tip. I have done cheek swatch of this beautiful lilac shade, so check that out. This is gorgeous. The other two shades that I absolutely love, one is a peachy peach, which is a true peach, and then we have pink nectar. Both of these on my skin tone, heavenly. So this category, by the way, the $21 to $30, I have the most number of blushes in this category, so there's a few more to go through. The next one at $29 are Shiseido blushes. So this is a very interesting formulation as well. First of all, you have to check out the shade Momoko. Momoko is banging. Like, oh my god, the most perfect pumpkiny orange. Wow, look at that color. Momoko. Momoko is my best friend. So these have a little bit of shimmer in them. So if you don't like shimmer, these may not be for you. Their shimmer is very fine. And what I like about these is that they give a very radiant finish to the cheek. They're not going to look glossy. They're not going to look dewy or anything like that. But they will give you a radiant finish to the cheek just because they have the little bit of shimmer in them, but the shimmer doesn't look offensive or anything like that. They're very sophisticated, and I love the formulation. It's this beautiful moussey product that's quite jiggly almost, and so you pop your finger in and you just blend it out with your finger. Effortless blend, last all day. If you're someone who gets quite oily, these are quite good because they're not gonna enhance that oiliness and kind of add to the oiliness. They stay relatively demi-matte on the skin. Of course, if you have a dewy emollient base underneath, they will look slightly more dewy underneath. So they're quite flexible. Love them, love them. Now, next up at the most expensive out of this category at $30, we have M Cosmetics. These are the new So Soft blushes. So I feel like M Cosmetics has now have got both. If they've got the really glossy blushes for people that really want that dewy cheek look, and they also have a very natural finish cream blush. These are for people who don't like a very glossy cheek, or they may have a lot of texture. These will be better for you because they're not going to really enhance a lot of texture. They will still look creamy on the skin, but they are more of a natural finish, not gonna look oily or anything like that. If you have oily skin and you use these, just know that they may make you look even more oily, whereas that's not gonna happen with these. And so that's the great thing about them. I feel like a lot of people will like these. There is one shade in here, Passion, which is just the most stunning orange blush ever. So most of the time when I buy orange blushes, I end up with blushes that are coral or peach. I often get peach tones, but a true orange is hard to find. The shade Passion is perfection in every way. So I would say that even though this formulation isn't very unique, the shade Passion though is worth every penny. At $30, we have Rose Ink cream blushes. They have such a luscious texture. When you touch these creams, they just feel emollient but not greasy. It's very hard to describe. It just feels luscious. Very pigmented, but also super blendable and buildable. So you can shear them out easily or apply less product and build and build and build, and you'll get more and more pigment. and the more you apply, of course, the dewier they will get. They're perfection. There isn't anything that I can say about these that is not good. They last all day, by the way. They won't wear well under mask, of course, because they are a more of a emollient dewy formula. And my hair, for example, will stick to them, but I would generally wear them when my hair is tied up. But check them out. Really great color selection with this as well. Now let's move on to the really expensive blushes. So these are really your top tier, high end to almost luxury blushes. This category is between $31 to $40. And we'll start off with at $32. Ilia. These are so cute. Oh my god, they're these tiny little blushes. They look like an eye cream applicators. They are beautiful. Look at that. And they smell good enough to eat. I really enjoy the scent of these. Every time I apply them, I can smell this buttery, vanilla-ish, like someone's baking somewhere. Oh, divine. These are your dewy blushes, and they look very soft, very creamy on the cheek. One of the reasons why I really love them is how creamy they look on the cheek. They are dewy, but they're not as glossy as your serum blushes from M Cosmetics. So you would get that dewiness without that very intense glossiness that not everybody will like. The shades that I adore from this range, we have Waking Up, which is the perfect nude. It's like a peachy, pinky, brownish nude, perfect for work, perfect for every day. It looks great on my skin tone. I wear this to work all the time. And then we have Sing, again, a beautiful cool tone berry. Sing is beautiful. And we have Stutter, which is like a terracotta. I have a whole video on these with cheek swatches, so check them out. They also last all day. I don't like these on the lips though. They're supposed to be multi-use pigments. I haven't yet tried them on the eyes, but on the lips, I feel like my lips still look a little bit dry, so I don't really like them on the lips. But on the cheeks, gorgeous. At $34, we have Nude Stick. I feel like anyone who's ever tried Nude Stick blushes love them. I have yet to hear a negative review about Nude Stick blushes. I keep them in this sort of nude stick container. Now they come in two finishes. You've got the matte finish and then you've got the dewy finish. The dewy finish is quite close to the glossiness that you get with these. It is very close. I still think the M Cosmetics is a little bit more glossy. However, why I would say perhaps the Nude Stick Dewy blushes, for example in the shade Poppy Girl, is better than these is that these don't necessarily enhance that much texture, whereas these do. If you are concerned about texture and you want to try a dewy blush, I would say try the Nude Stick first, because it's not going to enhance as much texture as these. These are super glossy. But yeah, they're quite close in finish. What I also love about these, they last all day. They are easy to blend, easy to apply. They have a range of shades that are perfect for brown skin tones. I don't think you can go wrong with this blush. I do think that this bottom part is a bit useless. I've tried to apply my blush with this brush and it doesn't really work. I would rather just blend them with fingers or with a brush. I have many favorites in the Nude Stick range. I feel like I've done a couple of videos on Nude Stick. Nude Peach is amazing. Poppy Girl, which is a recommendation from one of you. Thank you so much. Stunning dewy blush in Poppy Girl. You have Sunset Strip. You also have that bronzy shade. It's called Sunrise? Something like that. Perfect hybrid between a blush and a bronzer. So if you're looking for a shade like that, go with that one. Gorgeous. Next up at $34, we have Patrick Ta blushes. So these are the first thing that I tried from Patrick Ta, and I fell in love with his blushes. They're amazing. They are not as dewy, I would say, as the Nude Stick. So the Nude Stick dewy versions, if you really like that dewy glow, go with the Nude Stick. What I love about these is that you get the two shades. You have a powder blush and then you have a cream blush. There is a separator here to protect the cream, which is fantastic. This is the shade She's So LA, phenomenal, pretty unique shade in my collection. I like that the two shades are different. So that means you can actually get two blush options with these. This is one blush, this is another blush, and if you combine the two, that's a third blush. Yes, it's going to be similar in color, of course, because they're designed to work with each other, but they still look different in my opinion. And I just love combining these. This one is beautiful right at the top of the cheekbone, and then if you pop this right on top, perfection. I have all 4 of the Patrick Ta blushes that I swatched and reviewed for you guys. Check out that video, link in description box. I would have to say She's So LA is my most used blush shade out of his because it's that neutral warm tone, goes with absolutely everything. If you're wanting to try Patrick Ta, I would say get this shade. It's a must-have. The last category, these are blushes that are so expensive. It's unbelievable, but I'm going to show you my 2 favorites in this range. And this is the last range. So at $42 US, whew, we have Natasha Denona Love Cheek Duo. So don't pay full price for this. I have often seen this on sale, so get this when this is on sale. But it's worth the money, you guys. This is such an interesting formulation. So this is that sort of moussey, putty texture. It is very soft and blendable. This shade is so unique. It's like that neon pink shade that looks very flattering on my tan skin. And what I love about this formulation is that it just blurs out your skin. These and this have that in common. It blurs out your skin. It really smooths out skin texture. It is perfect for people that have oily skin because it's not an emollient product. It's not going to make your cheeks oily. It's going to set down and just look super soft, buttery, yet matte, yet blurring. Fantastic. From shade to formulation, fantastic. This highlighter is also really beautiful. Pairing these two together, whew, you just get this stunning look that is very characteristically Natasha Denona. I wish the shimmer had been a little bit finer in this, but it still looks really pretty. Now lastly, the most expensive cream blush that I currently own, and I recommend at a whopping $48 US, are Westman Atelier blushes. These are very expensive and in my opinion worth every penny. These are beautiful, beautiful cream blushes. Nina, honey, come here. I'm sorry, my cat is meowing at me, so I'm just gonna hold her while I talk about while I talk about the Westman Atelier blush. So the Westman Atelier blushes are very blendable. They are pigmented, but they sheer out beautifully. You can blend them out with your finger. You can blend them out with a brush. They last absolutely all day on the skin. And they also are, I would say, they're kind of a hybrid between a dewy and a natural finish blush. They don't look too dewy. They don't look too matte. They are closer to a natural finish. And they're stunning, you guys. The shade selection is amazing. One of my favorite nudes is Chouchette. Then there's Pop It, which is a bright, bright cool tone pink. I love my cool tone pinks, which is why there's many cool tone pinks that I recommend. There's Bichette, which is a beautiful, warm, reddish tone blush, perfect for brown skin, worth every penny. Yeah, you've had enough? You want to go? Go? You had enough? Oh, look at her. Look at her. She's so beautiful. Okay, we're gonna go. This is it, you guys. These are all my top favorite blushes for brown skin. I've talked about many here today. I tried to trim this list down and I couldn't trim it any further because they're all amazing. I'm hoping that by giving you the price ranges, it would help you to decide what price range you can afford and then what are the best blushes for you in that price range. I really don't think you need to go and buy the most expensive blush, because so many options that I've discussed here today, I think you'll be happy with any of them. I really hope you found this video helpful. If you did, hit that like button, and of course, let me know what you would like to see next, and I will see you guys in my next video. See ya!